Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of The FauxShow. Today is Saturday, March 8th. My name is Angela.
And my name is Chris.
And as most of you know, The FauxShow is not a real show. It is a social experience because I don't look at you. I look at the chat room which I have here on my iPad.
Oh, the chat room? We've got the chat room full screen on my screen.
It's over there on a monitor where we can see ourselves.
Oh, nice.
And it's on this monitor.
That doesn't matter. Actually, Angela, good news. It's built into the best lower third on the internet. However, if you would like to participate in that lower third, you will need to do an in-app purchase of $1.99, and then you can join. And if you'd like to talk, there's an additional purchase of $2.99, which will be charged later. We'll give you details about that if you go to the About Us page.
Nice.
So today we're talking about in-app purchases, if you didn't guess.
Yeah. So, the teaser picture was this.
Epic.
In-app purchase. Would you like to spend more money to make this app do what you thought it could do in the first place? Which I know has happened to me.
Yeah.
Several times.
So I got a story I'll have to tell you in a little bit. I forgot to mention this lower third is also hiding my brewski.
My brewski.
What's up?
I had a transphasic dooski, but that sounded like a crap.
You're taking a duke. Right off the top. Poop joke.
I love potty humor. So, yeah.
Speaking of potty humor and not being related at all, I should mention that we're going to be doing a batch of faux shows next Saturday.
Yes.
If you want to join us for a live. We're doing probably 3 episodes back to back.
The faux-a-thon.
Yeah, we're doing a faux-a-thon next Saturday.
Yeah, because here's the deal. We're flying Rakayan.
That's right. And we got a new studio, and we got to go work on that studio and buy stuff for that studio.
Yeah. So this will help. We'll do 3 in a row next Saturday, starting
probably a regular time, right? 10?
I guess.
Yeah, and then just go hardcore all day.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to do about lunch. Probably Thai food, right, Ange?
No. So, anyway.
Yeah.
That's that. Also, if you had wanted to contribute in some way to the fund to do the studio.
The Studio Renovation Fund.
We have the Linux Action Show 300 shirts still on sale for just until the end of tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh.
Whoa, look how much of your shoulder is in that shot.
Oh, in your shot? Oh, yeah, this is set for Chase.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so here's a size comparison of the coin versus a quarter, a U.S. quarter with a U.S. inches ruler.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
It is very cool. You have it right there, too, by the way, right next to you. Yeah, right there. There it is. So this is literally the final moments to buy this Bad Mama Jamma. And thank you, everybody. We had a goal of 754. Mm-hmm. We are sitting right now at a pretty 1,176.
Yeah, and what's I forgot.
What's crazy is all of those are coming with a shirt, and we have 1 day and 12 hours.
You mean a coin?
A coin. All these shirts, all the hoodies. Have you seen how many ladies? Has anybody picked up a ladies' tee?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Good.
Yep.
Good.
Nogle has.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he
Good
got
job,
a pink
Nogle.
one.
Good job. Really?
Yeah.
For his lady or for himself?
For himself.
Well, why not?
Yeah. I have one coming. That's for sure.
Yeah, you should.
Gosh, what was I going to say?
I don't know.
Well, anyway.
That only 1 day left?
No, it was about the number. But, Oh, I know. Well, because we met our goal already, because it tipped, your card will be charged immediately. For those who didn't want to buy at the very beginning of the thing, because they don't charge until we meet our goal. We've met that goal, so your card will be charged immediately. No worrying about when is that going to hit, and
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yep, me too.
And we just ordered internet for the new studio. Mm-hmm. And just ordered Rikai's editing machine for the new studio.
We should do one of our faux shows next Saturday about the studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to.
Yeah. And actually, one of them will be about the studio because we'll have to do the award show.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I
perfect.
have maybe maybe about a dozen submissions about what we should do in the new studio. So if you have an idea and can send a picture of what anything, it could be realistic, not realistic.
An idea for the studio.
Just an idea of whatever.
Built-in
decorations.
Anybody send in an idea like a bar? Anybody send a picture of a?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Nope.
So
but we do have some good ones.
We have a few, in-app purchases is not anything that's foreign to anybody who probably watches this show. And I'm sure you've noticed over the last few years, especially starting around iOS 3 and then about a year later, I think Android got support for in-app purchases. Mm-hmm. And it's just been blowing up.
Right.
And it's really been a trend even larger than app stores. I think back to my good old beloved Star Trek Online, and they went free to play. Or Star Wars The Old Republic, which I also loved quite a bit, went free to play. They added stuff in-game so you can buy, and they're all making a lot more money now. Mm-hmm. So I know you asked the audience, what do they think of in-app purchases? What do we get?
On Google Plus, I said, what do you think about in-app purchases? Hate, love, genius, annoying? We had, I hate in-app purchases. I prefer to pay up front for a complete product. And I totally agree. However, I will have to say, with I've gotten some collage apps that were either free or paid and then had stuff that you had to buy on the inside, which annoyed me for some of them. But other ones, like, it's kind of cool that if they make a new set of frames, that I can then add those. Because it doesn't make sense for them to do more work and not get paid for that.
Yeah, especially since the way app upgrades work, they're always free. And there's some camera apps that I've used that, like, I've had it for a year, and then maybe down the road they'll add like a new filter pack or they'll add some new effect. And I'm like, okay.
And they did do more work, but it doesn't make sense to discontinue their previous app and lose all those people.
It's interesting because they can say, well, boy, this filter or these frames or whatever, this collage stuff, this sold way better than this one did. So this is obviously our audience, our customers like this type of stuff a lot more, and it kind of gives them more feedback, and they can sort of then spend money on the stuff that directly makes them money. I mean, they can spend time, is what I mean.
However, I did buy a unicorn app for my daughter, and you can do one level before you have to buy stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Like, almost anywhere you tap on the screen, it says you have to buy that. And I was just like, what?
Yeah, that's way over the top.
It is like, I should just delete the app, except she loves it so much, and it is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I haven't bought anything. I did not.
Well, like, so, Plants vs. Zombies 2 came out. After Plants vs. Zombies 1, which I think when it first launched was a paid game. Number 2 comes out totally free. You buy it, you get it free.
Right.
But then, like...
which is the point of free to play, right?
Well, and like, psychologically, like, you're like, well, once you get into the app, you're like, well, geez, it was free to begin with, so I could spend a couple of bucks now that I know I like it. So that's how they get you. And they get you, oh, yeah, I kind of like it. So I've got an iPad right here that our kids play on. And it's using this, what was this called again? What's it say on there on the back?
Armor Box.
The Armor Box case, which is great for kids. But, when I'm in this Plants vs. Zombies game, like, there's stuff like skip to the next world by spending $5.99. Or buy a more powerful guy by spending $3.99, or get a pack of this or that by spending this amount of money. It's the same on Angry Birds Go, which is also a new game, where it's like, get a better car if you spend, and get ready for this, some of the prices, $40 for the car.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's super crazy. Let's see I don't know if I have it on here. I don't, but so
yeah. So Dylan is a big sucker for Angry Birds, right?
Yeah.
So he had Angry Birds Regular, Angry Birds Seasons, Angry Birds Space,
all the different Angry Birds.
Whatever. They just came out with Go. So he had
all rolling in-app purchases.
And physical products to go with it.
Yeah.
So the alternative to the in-app purchases is you can buy the physical telepod that has a QR code on the bottom with a pedestal with a magnifying glass that you put over the camera.
Yeah.
And so then if you buy the physical product, you can port it into the game.
Yeah.
And
so they have ones like this. Here's the Angry Birds Star Wars telepods,
right?
And it's a Jedi versus Sith multi-pack. And so you get these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, 6 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. And you get all of these for $8, right?
Right.
Well, one of these guys, if you buy the version in game, is $8.
Right.
So you buy this pack, and they get a physical toy. But see, not everybody wants to buy these toys, so then you could just buy them right away and unlock them in the game.
Right.
For a ton of money.
Yeah.
But the other way, like some of the more bigger games get you, is you don't buy the items directly. Like in terms of Angry Birds, you buy coins, and then you buy stuff with those coins.
Right. Well, because then it just it blurs how much you've actually spent.
Yeah. Well, so and here's the other problem: is it's really easy for kids to accidentally buy something.
Well, it's not if you use the restrictions, but we'll talk about that in a second.
So on this iPad, there's no restrictions because this is the iPad I also use. So I don't want to put restrictions on it, right? So Dylan's on here, and he's in Angry Birds, and he wants some of these coins. And I'm like, well, all right, there's a $4.99 pack that'll get you 1,000 coins. Well, like the first thing costs 1,200 coins, so you can't even buy the first thing with that pack. So, but he had earned enough coins because you get a little tiny bit of coins in game too. So he earns enough coins that if I buy this $5 pack, he'll have about 1,500 coins, and then he'll be able to get what he wants. Okay, great. All right, Dylan, I'll get that for you. You've been playing for a while. I grabbed that. Well, because I just authorized it, he went back into the menu.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, it starts at $5, but do you know what it goes up to? Do you have a guess?
Oh my gosh.
Do you have a guess?
I don't want to know.
$100.
Did he spend $100?
Yeah, he spent $100. I know. And then you know how I found out about it? You know, because I looked down at the game.
You got an email from...
Well, that came later. But no, like 10 minutes later, I go to look at the game and I notice, wait a minute, that's not 1,200 coins. That's 10,000 coins.
I think I might have been there when that happened.
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. I remember you being like, wait a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were there.
Yeah. But I was like, yeah. Oh,
so I was like, all right, restrictions back on. And I was like, that's my bad because I turned the restrictions off.
Man.
But it's a system that sucks because it's ripe for problems. It's just full of them.
Yeah.
And they all have that authorization delay, so you don't have to put your password in too much. It was awful.
All right. Well, so another comment we had was, I don't mind them. I like to try before I buy. I do not like crippleware, though. And that's a good point. Being able to like look at the app and see if it's good, like I guess that might be a good point for the unicorn game. And some of these apps, they do like, you can look at it for free and play, except we're going to throw an ad in your face every 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. That gets really annoying. Mm-hmm. So maybe you'd buy the paid version. But if there's still ads in the paid version, I'm going to get mad.
Yeah, that's over the top. And I think a big part of it is if you get it for free, you get to try it. And that psychological thing was, well, I like this. I know I want it. I know it's quote unquote valuable to me. Mm-hmm. And so then you'll just start spending more money.
Right. Annoying, especially the freemium variety. It leverages the same tendency one may have towards impulsive gambling, for instance, just without ever having to worry about winning anything of value. And that is true, too. Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah, you're losing your money, but you're not really gaining anything physically for it.
No.
Great if it's done right. It's the same as free-to-play games. Yep. I don't have an issue with in-app purchases if they permanently improve the user experience. In other words, they're not, like, temporary gains.
Like, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
So, we have a couple of different Jupiter Broadcasting apps in the Android App Store. Mm-hmm. Like, what if one of those offered an in-app purchase that gave you all of the pre- and post shows? Right? So for like, say, $5.99,
right,
you get access to all the pre- and post shows.
Right.
But you get the app, it's fully functional as far as like all of the free content.
By the way, that's not available yet.
No, but I'm just like hypothetically, that kind of, I don't know if $5.99 is the right number, but that seems fair in a way. Like, here's the free app with all the free content you could just download on your own, and if you want to support us, spend a couple extra bucks, it unlocks additional content.
Right.
But then it's permanently unlocked. I think that if you perma unlock it, that's fair. Which would fund more development of the application.
So another comment was either charge for the app or put ads in. I hate the disappointment when a good app charges per feature. And that is, if you get an app expecting it to do something and then every step of the way you have to buy something just to finish it, or specifically, there's a collage app that I got and I thought, oh, that's really cool. I love the frames. Well, none of the frames came with it at all. You could just do,
really?
Yeah, you could just do a plain color, which plain color doesn't look good. You need gradients and decorations and embellishments.
That would be crippleware.
That would be, exactly.
So, yeah. Well, I think a lot of people recognize why they're doing this, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, have you thought about why developers are doing this?
Oh, yeah. Well, like I mentioned earlier, because if they've done additional work to make the app better, they should be compensated in some way for that.
But there's a bigger problem here, and the bigger problem is, so like this Plants vs. Zombies game, this probably would have been somewhere, I'm not saying it would have been worth it, but it probably originally, like if you were to time travel back to 5 to 10 years ago, they would have sold this in a box on a shelf for $30 to $50, right? And now because it's in an app store, they're forced to give it away for free to be competitive because the app store has driven prices down. Good for consumers, bad for developers. So now they have to come up with these gimmicks to get us to pay because they have to be able to eat. They have to be able to fund development.
Right.
So it's this weird system where, like, we all love the app stores, Google Play Store, all this. It's great, except for that whole it pushes software prices down problem, which is something we talked a lot about on Coda Radio. But you really see it now, like in Plants vs. Zombies 2. There's these worlds, like old school Mario worlds, where you can move to the next world, and like when you get halfway through the world, they start prompting you to spend money just to skip it and go to the next one.
Right.
And that's just a money grab.
Yeah, it is. It really feels like a bait and switch sometimes. Like, here's this awesome product, except you really have to pay more for it.
And the problem that I see with this is the only way to really fix it is if somehow apps that charge up front and charge a lot of money, like what they actually have to charge to be a successful business, the only way that's going to succeed is if users buy it. end users are willing to spend more money. I don't see that happening, especially not in an economy like this.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, Andrews. All right. Well, why don't we take a second right here and thank our sponsor this week, and that, my friends, is Ting. Go over to FauxShow or faux.ting.com, and actually, we're talking about the mobile industry. If there's a company out there that you could say is really trying to make things better, trying to improve things, trying to make the experience suck less, that's Ting. Really. They're a no BS mobile service provider, and you can get started by going to faux.ting.com. No contract, no ETFs, and you only pay for what you use. It's a flat $6 a month plus your usage on top of that. If you don't believe me, try out their savings calculator. You can go in there and, let's plug our numbers in here, Angela.
All right.
So about how many minutes do you use per
600.
month? 600 minutes, Ange? All right, how many text messages?
Probably...
About 100? Maybe 200?
Yeah, maybe 150.
150, okay. And, boy, do you know your megabytes?
Like 2,000 or 2,500
Whoa,
megabytes.
really?
I think.
Jeez, no, I'm that.
Like a gig?
Yeah, let's say, let's split the difference.
That's 2,000 megabytes, right?
Well, I think you're actually 800, but I don't know. Let's see.
Isn't that 1,000 megabytes? Yeah, okay,
yeah, we'll do 1,000. And what's the bill?
Wait, 1,000 megabytes is 1 gig?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2,000.
No.
Oh, well, my bad.
I think your data is like
Math.
800, but that's okay.
Okay.
Let's put 800 just to be safe. We'll lowball it. We'll just lowball. We'll just say we'll lowball. All right, what's your bill before taxes? About 120, 125?
130, yeah.
130? Jeez, woman. Okay.
I know. Well, just the data itself is 40.
Calculating the savings, Ange. Calculating the savings. You would save $1,968 in 2 years by switching to Ting. Look at that.
And without a 2-year commitment.
No 2-year commitment. And when you buy your phone, the other good thing is you own that phone outright, and then you're not spreading that cost over the 2-year contract. And speaking of devices, don't ditch that fruit phone just yet, says Ting.
Fruit phone?
On Tuesday, Ting should have support for the iPhone 5.
What?
Yeah, baby. That's right.
What?
Yeah, so if you have an iPhone 5 that's compatible with the Sprint network, you'll be able to bring it over to Ting. I don't know if they're going to start selling it directly either. That'd be really cool.
That's awesome.
Also, the Samsung Galaxy S5 is coming to Ting.
Jeez, look at them go.
I know, the next HTC One, and they're also bringing back some awesome value devices. The Kyocera Milano is $75. Samsung Galaxy Victory, $150. Now, you own these with no contract, no early termination fee. It's awesome. By the way, they also have an incredible dashboard. You can go over to faux.ting.com to get a video of that. They also have no-hold customer service if you call them during business hours, and they've got a great device selection, and every plan includes hotspot and tethering, which I'm using at the new studio. 14 megabits down at the new studio for my Nexus 5.
Wow.
Nexus 5 is getting 14 megabits.
Wow,
I know.
that's great.
And like 9 megabits up.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
That
so
is
I'm
awesome.
like, I can just tether with this. Oh, and for all you haters out there, I did finally take the sticker off the back of the Nexus 5.
What was the sticker?
It was like a little IMI phone identification sticker. So now my Nexus 5 is naked. So
Naked.
And I think if you buy the Nexus 5 from the Google Play Store and put it on the Ting network, it's like best of both worlds. And Ting's cleaning this act up, and you can vote with your wallet by going over to faux.ting.com. And a big thank you to Ting for sponsoring FauxShow.
FauxShow.
Okay, Ange. So what are we going to talk about next? 'Cause I'm all fired up about these in-app purchases.
Okay, well, so in the show notes, which you can go find at jupiterbroadcasting.com, you can click on shows and go to FauxShow to see all of the shows, or you could just look at I think the last 2 weeks are on the first page.
Yeah.
There are links to in-app purchases for consumers and developers for both Apple and Android.
Guidelines, how to turn them off.
Right.
All restriction settings, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or there's different types of in-app purchases. There are some monthly recurring subscription type ones, which I didn't realize. But
well, you think of like a video service or like a I don't know.
I guess I don't use any.
Yeah.
Oh, but I did want to mention Shazam is an app that I use and I love it. It listens to the music that or speech, whatever that is being played, and it tells you what that is.
Everybody knows Shazam. People love it.
No, not everybody does. So the app is riddled with
ads.
Yeah. Okay.
Show on the screen. They probably see it.
But what they do is when you open the app to use it, you just saw an ad scroll there at the bottom.
Yeah, I did.
They have here. Let me turn up my brightness.
That's all right.
They have.
That's too bright now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, down's actually good when you're pointing at a camera.
They have a news area, and when you open it, it loads it with news, like an inbox almost.
What? And then you have like a badge that says,
and
"Hey,
you have a badge." So then when you close the app, it shows Shazam has 2 notifications.
They're playing to your OCD there.
They
you
are
don't want
because
that.
I don't want to see any unread emails.
And then you
I
go
don't
in there,
want to
it's
see any Facebook notifications.
You go in there, and it's an ad, right?
So that is actually really clever. I never read it. I just go into it, open it, and then close it again.
Yeah, just to clear it.
Just to clear it.
I would do
But
that
it
too.
actually is kind of genius.
Well, it's. I don't like it. I don't. It's manipulative. And it starts this whole in-app purchase system when they overdo it like that.
I know.
It starts this back and forth because then people want to break the system so that way they can get this stuff.
However, it is a good app.
Yeah, I know.
So I put up with the scrolling ads at the bottom. I put up with the full screen.
I know.
Like, look at this ad before I tell you what song it is that I identified. Like, I put up with all of that because it's
so
just
good.
a good app.
Well, bring up number 4 over there because I want to play an example of how the hacking community eventually feels compelled to respond to stuff like this.
Okay.
Someone has found a crack in Apple's notoriously ironclad app ecosystem. 9 to 5 Mac reports.
And by the way, this is an old report, but I think it serves as a good example. We'll talk about it a little more after it's done.
Alexei Borodin, a Russian hacker who has figured out a way to make in-app purchases in iOS applications without actually paying a dime. And as iPhone hacks go, this one is very easy. You don't have to jailbreak your iDevice, and it works on anything running iOS 3.0 or later. In this video posted to YouTube, Borodin shows off the workaround. By downloading a set of security certificates and changing their domain name server settings to connect to Borodin's server, a user can circumvent Apple's transaction system entirely. He calls it the in-app store. Sophos explains it's a pretty standard man-in-the-middle attack. The in-app store tricks an app into conducting what it thinks is a purchase from Apple, but is in fact a transaction with Borodin's site. The bogus app store then returns a bogus purchase receipt that the app accepts as genuine. So if it works, what's to stop people from using it? Not much, says the Next Web. As of earlier today, some 30,000 plus in-app purchases have been made through Borodin's service, though those using the hack do transmit their...
So this was happened back in 2012, so this isn't relevant as much anymore. And what happened is Apple wasn't properly validating that the purchases were originating from the device and that the authorization was originating from Apple. They just assumed if you got authorized, it must have come from Apple.
Right.
And so when a man-in-the-middle attack happened and they generated the authorization, the iOS device just assumed it must be legit without verifying it. So they have fixed that. That was back in 2012.
Right. I think that was also when kids started buying so much, and there were a lot of disputes about how much the bills were for the parents.
Yeah, and so the hackers really were pushing on this because it's gotten so crazy, and there's still people in the community out there that are working on this kind of stuff. But you can see like why it continues to happen because Apple and everybody else makes so much damn money off of it.
Right. So this is a graph from AndroidAuthority.com showing that 72% of revenue comes from apps that feature in-app purchases. So this is why they keep doing it.
Yeah, 72%.
And I would wonder how that would change as the validating and verifying and passwording and all that and restrictions, all of those things to prevent like kids from buying stuff. But still, I still buy pack frames or whatever in the collage apps.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Now, I know that Apple is talking about they're going to release like some sort of revised rules and policies around in-app purchases, and I guess that's expected like to drop at any time. I don't know the details on it, but usually what happens is if one of these companies, Google or Apple, makes a big change, something really big in the way these things are structured, a lot of times the other companies follow suit. And again, it's not just Apple and Google, right? The BlackBerry store, or actually I don't know about the BlackBerry store, but I know the Amazon store has in-app purchase capabilities. Yep. So this is, taking off more and more. I just wish they'd reel it in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. All right, Ange. Well, what's next?
I think we have, as we say, you can go through the show notes for how to disable those on your device.
Yeah.
Both the Android Play Store, the Google Play, Android Store, whatever.
Google Play Store.
And iTunes, they actually say this app has in
the description.
Purchases. Yeah,
that's
both
nice.
of them do, and that is awesome. So you can be mindful and watch for that.
Yeah,
but I think that I think that brings us to the really popular.
I will give a quick plug that this is a topic that we have covered like totally extensively on Coda Radio because Mike's a developer, and we have a lot of people in the community who are developers who listen to Coda Radio, and we've been watching this trend. A lot of episodes have covered this topic in different forms, and the conversation has evolved a lot. But one that really jumps out in my mind is episode 45, The Great App Recession, because this, if I recall correctly, was the episode where Mike switched his app from a paid app to a free app, and then he reported like just this massive difference in having the two. And he looked into like switching to in-app purchases to make up for the lost revenue. I think we talked about that in episode 45. So if you want it from a developer's perspective, definitely check that out. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, Ange. Well, with that file, I think it's time for the Jupiter.
Woo.
All right, Ange. Man, I love that designer. Every time they come with something brand new, something fresh they've never seen before. That's one of our best motion graphics artists. And the only thing they work on is this show for about $300,000 an episode. All right, Ange, where do we start in the mail sack?
All right. We have.
Yes.
Where is it?
Yes. Sean writes in.
Sean writes, Chase, it had no business being that hot, and the lid was defective.
He's talking about the coffee.
In response to last week's Faux Filter, where the Faux Show did a spin on our show Unfilter, and we unfiltered the news-ish.
Yeah, I thought that was a great episode.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And so I don't know if I don't know if I could blame Chase, because I think and I don't mean to blame you, sweetie, no. But I think you kind of didn't mention the fact that it was like more than 30 degrees over what the
10.
recommended. No. I think it was actually 30.
So they keep it at 170 now?
Now.
And it was registering between 180 and 190. And I don't remember exactly what.
I thought it was 30 degrees hotter than it was supposed to be. That's what I remember. Of course, I'm just going from memory from back then.
Well, it was still way too hot. I mean, third degree burns 16% of her body from an 8-ounce cup of coffee. I mean, that is 12-ounce transphasic can.
Well, what happened was it's not the coffee's fault. I mean, in a way, like what happens is it absorbed into her sweats. And then, like just baked.
In her sweatsuit. It wasn't sweats. It was sweatsuit.
Yeah, and it, like, just baked her legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super gross. You showed the picture.
Well, it was the inside of her legs and her...
yeah, there's no...
That other place.
Yeah.
But
all
anyway,
right. Simon.
So that was Sean Newboy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. Simon writes in.
Simon writes, "Hello, JB Crew.
Hello.
My wife and I are planning to switch from Verizon to Ting.
Yeah! Yeah, what's up? Faux.ting.com.
So, just so you know, the was part of his email. Anyway, my wife is excited to get the Note 2, and I'm thinking about the Nexus 5.
Mm-hmm.
Good hardware and price.
Yeah.
Chris, I know you have the Nexus 5, and I wanted to get your take on it. I'm particularly interested in the creepy factor in light of all the data collection. I know this is an issue near and dear to your heart, and I respect your opinion. Thanks for the great shows. So, I listen to them all and look forward to a great, bright future in 2014.
Thanks, me too. One thing that's cool about this phone, although that does bring up the creepy factor, is at any point I could say, okay, Google, Angela Fisher. And it actually will search the web for Angela Fisher. Well, hello there. Wait. Why do I get pictures of a man when I search for Angela Fisher?
Why did you say hello there to him?
Well, because I was saying hello to her, but there you are. There you are.
Hey, yay!
But it only does that when you're on the home screen. Creepy factor, it's hard to quantify when you're talking to Google. So on one side, the other phones ship with a lot of bloatware, and probably all that bloatware at some level is tracking you back to the OEM. So it doesn't have any of that, but it still has, the location stuff. It's still an Android device with the Google launcher experience. But it is it's that perfect spot. You can see how thin it is. It's light. I wouldn't say it's built quite as well as the HTC One, but it's a very good compromise for performance. It's very fast. Screen is very nice, and it's thin. Speakers are decent, not nearly as good as HTC One. But I go back to all other phones come with vendor software on them. And since this is essentially at least one layer of tracking software probably removed. So I think out of all of them, this is probably the least creepy. If that's saying something. The least creepy, I guess. All right, Ange, what do we got next?
That was it for the mail sack, actually.
Oh, thanks, mail sack.
Yeah. But I do want to remind you of a couple things that you can email me about. If you have a Jupiter Broadcasting shirt and you wear it and you want to show me your face,
heyo,
I need 3 more pictures to make a 115
115
person,
shirt posts?
Yeah, well, it's a 115 picture poster for the new studio.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So,
the poster, we need 115 pictures.
Yeah, if you want, actually, I need a couple more than that because there's last coins.
So you need like 100.
But yeah, anyway, I do need a couple more pictures to complete the poster.
Why don't we put me in there?
Well, we will.
Okay. And maybe Matt. Do we have Matt? Oh, Matt's in there.
Yeah,
that's
Matt's
right.
in there.
And Alan's in there.
So there's some really great ones. If if you haven't done that already, you can email Angela at jupiterbroadcasting.com.
With your
Also,
picture.
I am still interested in seeing where you put your sticker. Okay?
Okay.
Because there were about,
Okay.
I think there were about 150 or 175 people that didn't email in their picture for the award show. So,
Oh my goodness.
No, it's
I'm getting
okay.
so upset right now, Angela. I'm getting so upset.
it's okay.
Oh, okay.
That show is huge. So,
Yeah, that was a big show.
You can do that. And then also, I do still want your studio suggestions. Please try to send a picture so that we have a visual representation of what your what your thoughts
Otherwise,
are.
Angela will drive to your house and kick you in the nuts.
And it can be creative, realistic, unrealistic, whatever.
Okay.
And I think that's it. So Angela at jupiterbroadcasting.com.
Now, a couple of important bits of details and a reminder. We're going to do
That's what I just did.
the full marathon next Saturday.
yeah, okay.
Just want to remind
Full-a-thon.
folks, join us at 10 a.m. Pacific. Don't forget, tonight is daylight savings, which
Yes.
means last will be an hour earlier tomorrow.
Don't be late
Oh
for
my
tomorrow.
God. Yeah, so don't be late for last tomorrow, and of course the faux show will be starting a little earlier. But if you're like in
Next week.
one of the parts of the world that changes at a different time or it gets
Right.
confusing, jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar. The computers will do the math for you,
Yep.
so you don't have to.
It should be in your local time. There may be one or two exceptions, but for a majority of you, it will convert it to your local time.
And we really like to have you live, so check that calendar out so you can join us over at jblive.tv. You can email Angela at jupiterbroadcasting.com. Follow the Faux Show on Google+. It's Faux Show. And do you have a Faux Show Twitter account? No, just she's
Angers.
At Angers with a Z on
Yeah.
the Twitter.
Yeah, not Angers.
No, it's Angers.
Angers.
Remember how we used to put Z's on everything? God, we
Yeah.
were so cool back then.
His mom is Mummers.
Yeah, or softwares.
No,
Wares.
never.
Oh, you're going to get feedback about that. Tell her about wares, everybody. All right, Angela, take us out.
All right. That's it for this week. That's it for this episode of The Faux Show. We will see you next week. Don't forget, you can catch recent episodes of The Faux Show on
jupiterbroadcasting.com/faux show.
Also, get them on demand in the iTunes store. Search for Faux Show.